What's up guys, this is like a part 2 of my new player overview of Vermintide. There's just so many things to cover, especially when on the topic of new players who want to get into Nightmare. My long-term goal is to create a playlist where each of these topics is its own video and is covered thoroughly, but that's going to take months to complete, and I want to have some kind of resource right now. And so that's kind of what these are, is to at least have some resource in the interim while I work on a much better format. First off, I'm going to kind of extrapolate a little bit on why to play it on Nightmare instead of on Hard. The loot table for Nightmare is a lot better, and you're going to find that the level of play in Nightmare is going to be a lot higher than the level of play on Hard. I don't mean that to like trash talk anybody and like, oh, you're bad because you play on Hard or whatever. Just that you're going to have higher quality players than you're going to have on Hard because the loot table is much better, the challenge is much better. So you want to work your way up to Nightmare. You don't want to go in too early. But it's much better to play on Nightmare than it is on Hard because orange weapons are much better than blue weapons because they have that third trait. And when I say you want to complete maps quickly, I mean you want to complete maps efficiently. Now that doesn't mean that you rush for it and try to speedrun it and do it as quickly as you possibly can and you leave everybody behind. But it does mean that you don't dally. Don't spend any longer in the maps than you need to. It's not worth it to go looking off in the side rooms for health items unless you're in gray health, and even then it's questionable because hordes and specials are on a timer. And the longer you spend in the map, the more specials you're going to have to fight, and the more chances you are to get that unlucky spawn where you get 2 gunners and a gas and a horde and something happens and your team wipes and you failed the map because you spent too much time trying to get that one extra bomb. It's just not worth the risk. One thing you'll notice is that sometimes when people die, if someone dies right before an event, it might be advantageous to move backwards in the map so that they respawn before the event. That way you can have 4 people in the event instead of 3. It's kind of a niche scenario, but sometimes people do it, and that's what they're doing. And it only works if everybody moves. And when someone dies, the default time, unless they have a trinket, is 30 seconds to respawn. And they will respawn ahead of the forwardmost player. So if 2 people go back but 1 person stays forward, the person who died will respawn after the event. Another thing with healing, the way the healing works, with the difference between the medical kits and healing drafts. Healing drafts heal a certain number of your health points. Medical kits heal a certain percentage. So if you're in red, a medical kit is better. It will get you into green, whereas a healing draft will only get you into yellow if you're in red health. But if you're in gray health, a healing kit will get you into green, whereas a medical kit will only get you into yellow. So just something to be aware of. Since healing drafts are faster, a lot of players, such as myself, prefer to carry a healing draft because if I needed to heal in combat, it's a lot easier with the healing draft than with a medical kit. So that's just kind of the difference between and when to use what. It's not a big deal though. Another thing is there's so much healing in the levels that it's usually not worth healing if you're only at like 1 or 2 bars. Like, okay, so you can see my health right here. If I have like this much health, like if I've only lost 2 bars, it's not worth it for me to heal because that's like 2 regrowth procs and I'll be back, and I might take a random hit and I might go down here, but then I might heal up 3. It's just, your health is going to fluctuate to a degree. And it's not worth it. I wouldn't heal unless I'm like here. If I'm below, if I'm around half, I'll heal. But otherwise, it's just not worth my time to heal. The top tier trinkets. These ones right here. The top tier ones. Revive speed, super great. Potion share, extremely powerful. Extremely powerful. Movement speed, this trinket's always been mandatory for me, but recently it's become super meta. Heal share, super powerful. I will say that on maps where there's 3 tomes, you're only going to have 1 health at the end, so you really only need 1 heal share per team. Like in lots of games, I see people with heal share and then they pick up the first tome, and it's like, congratulations, your trinket did absolutely nothing for you that entire game. This trinket was recently buffed and a lot of people take it for the bombs, and bombs are good. Lich bone. This means that when you get the Grims, you will lose less health. So this is why some people have more health than others when they have Grims. And this isn't if you carry the Grim, this is if anybody has the Grim in your party. So you don't have to take the Grim because you have this one. In Gas, you may have noticed already, that when you get into Nightmare, the balance of power kind of changes. Gas is super deadly on Nightmare and on Kata. Especially on Kata. On Nightmare it's pretty manageable. But this becomes very useful on Kata. Luck only works if you open the chest. If someone else is opening the chest, the luck doesn't help. So you have to be the first to every chest. So I only take luck If I know I'm going to be the first at every chest, if I'm not going to be the first at every chest, it's kind of not worth it to me. And the rest of the trinkets are all kind of situational. These were outclassed because you can hold block when you revive an ally. So there are some purple ones. There are some that I don't have. This is a Lichbone one. This is utter trash. This one is Potcher. And there are some other purple ones I don't have. And in general, when it comes to trinkets, I would rather take a green that I want rather than an orange that I don't want. I would rather take a green bomb trinket than an orange assassin trinket. In my opinion, take what you want over what you have. Just because you have an orange, it doesn't mean you should take an orange. Same goes for weapons, you know. If your only orange weapon was a flaming sword and you decide that, you know, well, I would rather play with the mace, then, you know, man, play with the blue mace rather than an orange flaming sword. You know, don't worry about it. Play what you enjoy. Don't worry about what's super meta. And that's my opinion. I'm sure other people will probably disagree with me and probably say, no, you need to take the most. And lots of people are like that, and that's fine. But for me, you know, I play what I want. So there is a mod. This is the Quality of Life mod by Grim. You can find this on the Reddit. This has lots of good stuff. Bot improvements, all kinds of stuff. Third person. I don't use third person. It's harder to use, and to me, it does feel kind of cheaty. If you like third person, you know, that's fine, man. Do whatever you want. Nobody cares. Enemy health bars. I have them on specials. I should probably turn this off. You know, it gives you an advantage that you don't have, but I don't care, right? Like, I'm not competing with anybody, and neither are you. And I have this. This helps me, the player damage. It helps me notice which rats I hit and which rats I didn't. I like having that extra visual feedback. Chat block, so now you can hold block when you type. All this stuff's great, it's friggin' awesome. You know, definitely get the mod. The mod is super, super useful. I think the most important thing is this, that you'll be able to see everybody's trinkets on your team. That is so useful to instantly know, you know, something's happening. Oh, you know, such and such has heal share. Super, super useful. There's no excuse for that not being default. Pick something that's comfortable. A wider field of view is nice though because you can see more rats. So to quick swap, I think this is Q by default. This is super useful. I use quick swap rather than the numbers because we've all been in games where, you know, somebody all of a sudden at the end of the level throws the Grim away. You're like, why did you do that? And they're like, oh, you know, I misclicked. I meant to pull out my bomb. I meant to click 5, but I clicked 4, and now I threw away the Grim, you know, or whatever. This has happened to all of us. It's no big deal. But when this happens to you, stop what you're doing and change your key bindings so this doesn't happen. Don't use mine. Use what works for you. I would definitely say to make sure that you're using your manual dodge rather than just your jump dodge. Tab, right click. Now, see, now I have my mouse. I can do stuff. Over here, right here, you'll be able to see player profile. You'll click that, and it will show the person's player profile. And then you can send them a friend request. Don't be shy to send friend requests. You know, the worst thing they're going to do is ignore you. In Steam, you can group your friends. If I view all my friends, you see here, I've made a group for Vermintide. And so to do that, you would just click that, tag as, and that's how you can tag. So I hope this was helpful. These are just a couple things that I missed in my last video. I want to have a playlist of these, both from me and from other players. Like, for example, JSet already has an excellent specials video where he covers everything there is to know about them. So that's kind of like my long-term goal. But for now, I kind of just want to get a resource out there for newer players.